Hello, my beautiful friend. Um, I want to share a video about how light workers have been derailed from our mission. So, growing up, I was more of an activist. You can't be Palestinian, have Palestinian roots, and not be an activist, right? You can't be like an indigo child and not be an activist. You came here to fight back against the system and all the corruption on our planet. So you can't really be a human being without being an activist, to be honest. You can't be an empath without being an activist. And then the New Age movement came along. Now, the New Age has a lot of great wisdom. Like, I love learning about spirituality, manifestation, the power of the mind. But it's important for us to know that Mark Passio used to be part of a high level dark occult order, and he said, like, hey, we created the New Age. So it's like these people put it all together. They borrowed from East, they borrowed from this and that, and they put it all together and packaged it. And what's so dangerous about the New Age religion, because it is the New World Order religion, is that it crept in, and it was so like this, not deceiving, it was like alluring, especially for those who are like, I need to break out of religion. Now, I find myself in a very unpopular place where I'm not religious and I'm not a New Ager anymore. I borrow from all of that. I borrow wisdom from everywhere. But there's not too many people in this place where I'm at. And if there are, please comment below. I'd love to connect with you guys because it's lonely out here. No, I'm kidding. But so I'm listening. So I'm admitting that I've been derailed from my more of an activist soul. Used to have rap songs that were more rap activist, and then it became more new agey. And when you look back in the 60s, there's a theory that says that acid was created by this. Well, it might be facts that LSD was created by the CIA. Now, there's two things. One, it was created to get people less political. And if you study John Lennon's music, he was in New York. He was getting more political. He had albums that were more political. He was connecting more with the political movements of that time. And when you think about it, when all the whole hippie movement, imagine they were all political, that means the end of the war, the industrial war complex. Basically, no more wars, right? If they really got together and took a stand. But then it became about this beautiful world of open love. And the positive of acid, I don't know if they knew this, was expand awareness. You know who you are. You know what God is. You know what love is. You just know how powerful you are. You remember who you are. All that stuff is amazing. And I don't know if they knew how, sometimes they do these things and they backfire. Like, the internet was created by people who wanted to use it to control us. And that's part of the game plan. And, it's happening in places like China and eventually, different parts of the world. But that also backfired because source is in everything, God's in everything, consciousness is in everything. And even in their tactics, like, anything can be used for control or for liberation, right? It's funny how those things backfire, how they work, and that they backfire as well. So we can use our phones to empower ourselves. We can use technology to liberate ourselves, or we can be controlled by technology, right? Same with internet. Same with music, same with movies, the news, the content we're ingesting. So I was listening to a podcast or like an interview right now, and it's this guy who was a high level uh, Satanist, high level satanic priest, and so dedicated to his craft. Like at an early age, I think it was a family thing where his family would wake him up, and tell him it's to go through all these rituals, dark occult rituals, and then he basically starts going from house to house and putting spells on people and working with. It's almost like every city has like a dark lord, minion of the head honcho in the dark worlds, and he's just like hexing everyone. And I loved how he said like those houses that would pray or had more of a spiritual religious connection, um that they were untouchable. Some of the stuff that he says is I don't agree with, like when he says gay people are not, God didn't create people to be gay, or when he says things like only those who, the only Christians are anointed, everyone else, all other religions and paths are not anointed. That needs to go, like 2024. Come on, that needs to go, because I love, I love Christians who are like fucking warriors. I fucking love that. I love anyone who's a warrior, but I see more online. I see more Christian warriors, and he's so badass because he went from being this badass um, Satan soldier to being like God, quote unquote God. Anyways, that's a whole other rabbit hole, but like a force of love, you know, fighting for love. Love's war. That's my. I call us all warriors of love. I was like, what words would describe me and my community? And I came up with warriors of love. So because I was gonna say warriors of God, but then that's limiting in a way, and God is so misunderstood. So I came up with warriors of love. T-shirts coming soon. I should totally make shirts for that. And then yeah, that he would do all these dark things, and now he does the opposite. Now he and just listening to all this stuff. This is one dark occultist, and I'm tuning into like my life. I'm 42 now, and I was like, I used to be more of a warrior of love, and I've been derailed, and I fell for the trappings of New Age, and self manifestation for self gain, and you know. Yeah, I feel I allowed myself to get derailed, and I want to get back into being that political activist. Um, and because think about it, the new age today, right? I don't see the new age peeps in protests for Palestine. I even went on one of the big groups, one of the biggest kind of new agey groups here in Toronto, and I was like, "Hey guys, I noticed there's not a single event about what's going on in Palestine. And it's just crickets, like just no one, no comments." I was like, This is proof to me that the new age is working. That it is a form. It is there to derail and sedate. It's a sedative, right? They call religions of the older religions kind of an opium for the masses, and the new age is the opium for the ones that broke out of religion. It's like, okay, you're gonna break out of religion, I got something else for you. The chickens are leaving the cages. Well, we'll get you with the free range chickens. You think you're free, you're a free range chicken now. You're not off the farm yet. You're just a free range chicken. And you feel good about yourself because you can compare yourself to the caged chickens, and compared to the caged chickens, you're more free. So as long as you're able to see those in religion as trapped, then you feel like you're better than that. And there is elitism in the new age. We are the chosen ones. Uh, we're the star seeds, the light warrior. We're the light workers. We're the there's us and then the rest of the population, and there's a way to say it where it doesn't sound like you're better than others. I always tell people, yeah, you could be great with the higher chakras, but try mastering those lower chakras, because there's a lot of people on earth that are doing better being grounded humans and being having a healthier relationship with their left brain structure and being able to do those things better, whereas we're way too much in the divine feminine and the creativity, generally the people I'm around. And I'm doing my best to balance I've done so much work to balance the divine masculine with the divine feminine, to work on the shadow aspects of both, to balance and harmonize the left and right brain, being structured and fluid, and it's an ongoing thing. You got to work it out like a muscle every day. So yeah, there's Mark Passio breaks down the new age in a great way. I think if you do a video on that, and then I took that video and I created a module in my Break Free from the Matrix program based on that. I think it's like 4 hours or some ridiculous amount of time, breaking down the new age deception. And all it needs is to have like 1% poisonous thought. That's all. That's all. That's how the darkness works. Let me lure you with 95% exciting, exciting, empowering, like just so alluring. It's so like, oh, I love this stuff. And then it's the 5% where it's like, that's how they get us with that 5%. Don't talk about negativity. Bring my vibration down. Well, truth is, sometimes people perceive heavy topics to be negative topics, right? Don't you're bringing my vibration down. High vibes only. It's a mindset. These are all mindsets. They're all belief systems, and that's how we create religion. It's a list of beliefs. But this one came in a way where we were attracted to it, not the like where it wasn't imposed on us, right? It was, we said, I will be this. And I remember hearing Christians talk about the new age, and I was like, these guys are just so lost. I was like, these guys lost the plot. They just got bought out by some Christian person, or they freaked out. The new age was too powerful, too much truth, that they like got scared of it and went back. But yeah, it's important for us to know what are gods and lower G gods. Like, I try not to use the word God because it's so misinterpreted. Go experience God. Go to the forest, fast for a day, go to the forest, do some magic mushrooms, and you tell me try to describe God to me. You won't be able to describe God. That's why some Native Americans call God the great mystery, right? Because the mind can't fathom what God is. It's beyond words, beyond the mind. It's beyond the mind, and it's indescribable. And the mind and the words can only do their best. So the great unknown, or the great mystery, is such a humble way to say it's unknown and it is a mystery. to the mind, to our limited mind, to our human limitations. So what my the whole point of this video was for me to remind us how important it is to be warriors of love. And it's not enough to do yoga, and it's not enough to visualize your goals and dreams. It's not enough to, experience more abundance. And I feel there's an aspect that you're not going to get paid for it. You don't need to brag about it. But one thing Christians and Muslims and different religion groups is they get together. They get together and they do. This guy was saying when he was a Dark Lord, when he astral traveled to Europe, and he said there was this one place where they basically like ran him out. And the lady interviewing was asking how did they run you out from doing your dark stuff? And he said they were a united group of Christians praying. Now he works for the church, so he's gonna promote, he's gonna like boost Christianity, and that's fine. I just don't like to be boxed into anything really, but that's fine. Everyone's doing what they can with where they're at, and I'm just here to take that inspiration and share it. So the inspiration is how he now preys on the cities and nullify. Like, I love what he said. He said we are anointed. Like, I would translate what he said about only Christians are anointed, only with the word of Christ. Like, we have to remember how the Roman Catholic Church took this amazing human being, Yeshua, and just like turned him into an Avenger superhero, like a superhero status, and then made him godly, and even like to replace God, like interchanging God and this man Yeshua, I think. And this might be a divisive topic, but these are my thoughts, right? It's my research, it's my intuition. It's important to distinguish between the two, because it's just weird how it's weird that back then there were, when you read the Bible, there's like Nephilim and giants, and like there is beings coming from the heavens, which is really outer space, and angels, which are really aliens. And it's like, why did that stop? And the prophets, the chosen one, God chose these people. And so why did God do all those things? Why was there like a direct experience between so-called God and beings on planet Earth? And why is that not happening anymore? Why did it suddenly stop? So, very important question. Just God just took a break. Like, that's it. The Bible 2020 years ago, 2024 years ago or whatever, was so involved with humanity, and he had his chosen people, and it was and he had like this whole hierarchy of angels and archangels. That sounds like a military, kind of thing. And you shall not worship any gods but me. And, I'm a jealous God. That's not source. That's not the true God. That's not the universe. That's like a head of command alien guy. So, like a being from another place coming here, and anyways, so so where I was going with this is the importance of us to get together. Like, when I go to all these new age events, like I almost want to like demand that I speak on them, in there, because I'm noticing there's a lack of acknowledging the land that we're on, and acknowledging that this is native land that we're on, and just a simple acknowledgement of that. And I feel when I was in Australia that they really taught me the importance of that. I really appreciated that, and integrated it into when I do my circles and talks. And then I also notice there's a lack of like giving back to planet Earth, like spreading the love to the planet. I have seen it sometimes, to be honest. I have seen it. But when it's just about us, and like when it becomes like a closed bubble, disconnected from the rest of the world, that's dangerous. Yeah. I just connect so many things, and I see things from such a clear perspective, and I'm not perfect, but I've spent 25 years just diving deep into so much research, and I just love information, and I'm constantly absorbed, like reading more and more. Like if I was retired, I would just read, right, read and then teach. Like me, I want to get better at like sharing this info more than just reading it, because I just read it, keep it to myself for the most part. So I do have a podcast coming up on a big platform. Like I'm a guest, and I'll be sharing a lot of this info. What is dubbed conspiracy, which is a CIA term to like discredit those who know the truth about JFK, which is such a mindfuck, because this whole time it's like JFK was assassinated, and then you watch this movie that just came out now, and it's like, oh shit, JFK faked his death. It's so funny. It's like life is such a play, like what's happening now with P. Diddy. It's like they know that it's almost like they could do these things to Kanye and then just pay attention to what they're saying. They're saying, if you speak out against Jews, you will be canceled. So don't say anything about Jews. It's not even the Jews. It's like a sect of people who hide behind that title, who have darker rituals, who are not connected to the religion and the people. They're connected, but kind of not. They're their own sect, Call them extremists, in a way. They're not connected. They're a distortion of the true of like good. They're a distortion of the good that is found in Arabic culture, Jewish culture, religious culture. So, and then they shut down his banks, right? And he says it. If they did that to me, how are they going to stop that from you? So they do it to the celebrities first, and to get to us, right? So, oh shit, if they did it to Kanye, maybe they'll do it to me. And then they with P. Diddy, it's like same thing. They'll do it to P. Diddy, because I don't hear people talking about Clive, what's his name? Clive Davis? I think Clive Davis. No one's talking about Clive Davis. No one's talking about the head friggin' mafioso music elites running the music industry. No one's talking about that. They're just talking about one of his puppets, one of his like little minions, P. Diddy. Who grew up to be like a big deal, grew up to be a really bad boy, a bad man. He started off as a bad boy, became a really bad man, but no one talks about the root of it. No one talks about who corrupted this person when he was a young intern. Andre Harrell, his first mentor, supposedly told him like, you gotta like bend over and take it if you want to be in this industry. And then it perpetuates the cycle of abuse and abuser. Like we gotta get to the root. Like who's teaching these guys because homosexuality is not about like in these elite groups, it's not about a preference, it doesn't start off as like You don't do it necessarily because you're attracted to men. You do it, or it's being done to you because it's a high level satan, like, not the act of homosexuality is a satanic rite, but homosexual sex, it one of the high satanic rituals involves homosexual sex. Does that make sense? It's not an attack on homosexuality. It's not saying homosexuality and sex amongst homosexuals is evil, but it so happens, and this was the big missing piece in my connecting the puzzle pieces, was why is it always this gay thing? And then I finally got the information was about maybe like the equivalent on the light side is when two people come together. Like, I hear a lot of people in the Tantra community like glorify Jesus and Mary Magdalene as the ultimate like couple, conscious couple, who would have like tantric sex, and priestess, and it's a beautiful archetype, and sex that brings them closer to God and one union with each other and oneness and all that beautiful stuff. It's possible. I've experienced it. And so what's the opposite of that, right? The opposite of that happens to involve, homosexual sex, with like, yeah, there's like entities involved, and I don't know all the details, but that seems to be the common thing. So then who teaches someone like a young P. Diddy the dark rites, the dark rituals, satanic rituals, dark occult rituals? Well, go research who funded it. Who funded Bad Boy? Who inspired P. Diddy to get into this dark world where, earlier on he had this big party that tons of people died in. The research the Bad Boy curse. Almost every member who joined Bad Boy, bad things happened. Biggie died, and then Tupac died, and then Shine goes to prison, comes out, he's like a Jewish person, but like he converts to Judaism. Mace, leaves Bad Boy and converts to being a Christian. Like, what is happening? What's this dark cloud over P. Diddy? Where did that come from? And apparently one of the things about this dark satanic ritual is it's going to be a graphic thing, but when when a man ejaculates into another man or woman, I think something about the energy from the person penetrating, the energy going through up the spine and into the brain. So I don't know if it's I can't remember if it was, my research was about the ejaculate doing that. I know for a fact they're finding the ejaculate of a man is found in a woman's brain, even like years after, like the first person who ever came inside you, like the sperm apparently is still stuck in the brain and of women. And I wonder, from my research, it was something about like a transference that would happen when you would have, like the homosexual sex acts, and something about like it's almost a way of mind controlling the person you're doing it to. Because if you have this darkness and you're possessed by this darkness, and then you transfer it through one of the most, like, it's like when you plug in your phone into your laptop, right? You're transferring files from one thing to another. And I feel sex is that kind of plugging in your USB, plugging in your phone, and transferring energy and transferring information. So then the person you're doing it to is now getting corrupted. And we say corrupt files, right? when some, yeah, like I personally just got I'm just getting this right now. So I personally got an external hard drive. You could think of a USB, and I plugged it into my laptop, and all the files got corrupted, right? So think of the word like who corrupted P. Diddy, corrupted files, energy, sex, transfer. So these dark people, the dark occultists know the art of turning someone who's positive, light, you know, uh, ambassador of love, God's child, and the the whole one of the arts is knowing how to turn that person against love, against light, to, so makes sense. This is how to corrupt someone, because they're not born corrupt. Something, their actions and their who they're surrounded with gets corrupt, and you look at a Justin Bieber and feels like refused to be corrupted. The Pisceans are like the spiritual, and he's a Pisces, so the Pisces feel like the more spiritual. There's the dark Pisceans who are head of some of these bigger music institutions, and then there's like the light Pisceans, like a Bieber, who like went through so much but is not allowing himself to be corrupted. um, yeah, something about that Pisces is like a spiritual warrior. I see it in some of Michael Jackson's footage, where he's fighting against Sony and calling out the Tommy Mottola, head of Sony, as like a devil, based on what Mariah Carey told him about Tommy Mottola being this like evil controller person. And I've seen him in an interview, and I got such creepy vibes. I'm like, this guy is what the Bible says are the children, like the Nephilim, which were a hybrid of angels, aka alien beings, who came down to planet Earth. It says it in the Bible, and they found the women of Earth attractive. I don't blame you. And they interbred with the women of men and taught them like sorcery and like sciences, like astrology and all those things. So um, that's where it kind of started. And so this Tommy Mottola character, and maybe other high up people in different industries like Hollywood and the music industry, seemed like, at least this guy, when I saw him, I was like, this guy looks like some kind of hybrid. So that's a whole lineage. It's a whole bloodline on our planet um, that goes undercover. People are in the conspiracy world are aware of these bloodlines, but like on the outside, like now it's all P Diddy's not in the bloodline. Why are you focusing on a minion? Why are you focusing on a pawn? Why are you focusing on one of the soldiers? Focus on the higher ups. So one of the things is like, hey, I feel like they'll use celebrities to get to us. So it's like, hey, we're gonna expose a celebrity's dirty laundry, and somehow we're also letting you know, like, we're gonna expose everyone, like everyone's gonna be exposed, like, for anything they have that's compromising. So that's my take on it. 33 minutes. Let's conclude it right there. It so happens to be 33. Where is that? 33 spines right there. 30. We have 33. Sorry, 33 vertebra, which is connected to Christ consciousness, because 33 vertebra, ascension, circulating our sexual energy. Anyways, that's a whole other video. Love you guys.